Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of Hoppets. Today, diving into some of the beers that I brought back from my recent trip to Franconia with Bad Seed Brewing. Some Weizen from one of the arguably most legendary brewers in Franconia, Brauerei Zehendner, that makes das gute Mönchsambacher beer. We went to the brewery and we bought a crate of each beer they had available, which was the Hefeweizen, their lager, actually 2 crates of lager beer, crate of Hefeweizen, crate of export beer. And we used some for some bundles so people could try it who were fans of Bad Seed. So people could try some of the beers that we tried on the trip, but also save some for ourselves, of course. And we're trying it today. So this is das gute Mönchsambacher Hefeweizen. I reviewed their lagers, and I got the lagers, the export and the lager beer to re-review because they deserve a re-review, and because I am done holding back with lagers and all these classic beers. If they're great and as great as I think they are, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, 90 because it's a pilsner. There's a lager. I had that mindset a while back, and a lot of classic beers, like it's good for a bitter, it's good for a Belgian strong ale, whatever. So I'd hold back grades a bit. But these days, I'm just so into these things, more into these things. So I don't want to hold back and be like that. Like I'm in a mindset these days that beers is not just about explosive flavors, which is what got you into beer in the beginning, right? With craft beer, and I get it. I guess in general, it was beers that had more flavor than you're used to, but it doesn't mean that it should be like just that sometimes over the top craziness. There's beauty and simplicity and balance and classic styles too. So their Hefeweizen. I had this at the brewery at the source. It was amazing. The trip there was so fantastic. Massive shout out and thanks to Jason, who hooked us up with Stefan from the brewery, who was kind enough to show us around. We got to try some beer from the tanks. It was really amazing, that experience, and also sitting there in the pub drinking the beer really fresh and eating food. So we had all the beers that they had available actually, and one of them was the Weizen. I really wanted to try it because they're good at everything else that they do, and the Weizen there was freaking dope. So that was also, I was the advocate for getting this with this home, because the guys usually don't drink Weizens, but I was like, let's get some fucking great Weizen to bring home because it can be an amazing beer style. So let's dive in here. So pours a hazy golden yellow, slightly orange color in the glass. Pretty much looks the same as when I served it at the brewery, just that this has some thick yeast floaties, but that's bound to happen with time. Most yeast will lump together and drop down. It will flocculate, as it's called in brewing, or I guess if it's easier to understand, coagulate. I don't think you can see it on camera, but this is also bottled fermented, so it's natural CO2, I guess, in the bottle. It says Flaschengärung on the bottle. It's 5.5% made with water, wheat malt, barley malt, hops, and yeast. And this expires today when I'm drinking it. And it sounds like, oh, then you're going to have an old bottle. No, because Mönchsambacher or Zehendner gives really short shelf lives on most of their products, so you drink them really fresh. I think it's like 2 or 3 months or something like that for most things. So when you get it, like, it's not going to be massively old. And there's a lot of brewers in Franconia that have super short shelf lives on their bottled beer. But yeah, it looks nice. The head was more frothy and awesome looking when I just poured it. But let's check out the aroma on the Hefeweizen and see if it was as good, or is as good here as it was at the source. It smells really nice. It smells very rich on banana, but it's not like overbearingly sweet. Like some Hefeweizens, I think something that deters some people with Hefeweizen is if they're too sweet. And this definitely has that banana sweetness, but I'm getting onload of phenols too. It's very phenolic. It's got lots of clove. It's got a touch of coriander, maybe allspice, not maybe even a whiff of cinnamon. And for a quick sec, I got something that was a little bit plasticky, actually, or Band-Aid like. And that's sometimes something you can also get, but it's kind of gone now. But it's like this really rich spice character paired with the banana. I think the banana is so important in a Weizen. It's a classic nuance of it. I'm always searching for it, and I feel like often a lot of modern craft interpretations, they really lack it. They're more spicy and phenol-driven with minuscule banana aromas. There's maybe a little bit of a bubblegummy note too, and touches of a toffee-esque thing and fluffy wheat bread. It smells awesome. Let's try it. Cheers. Zehendner is a fantastic brewery. They, like, I don't think I've ever had anything from them that I think like, yeah, like everything has just been dope. I think like this is, if you have to compare it to some classic Weizens, what does it seem similar to? Like maybe closer to a Weinstefan Weizen than Schneider, because I feel like it's a little less on that sweet banana vibe and more on the phenolics and a lot of breadiness to it as well. Oh, you can see the yeast settling in the bottom, can you? I think so. It tastes really good though. Very bubblegummy actually too. The rich phenolic character, there's like that spice that's the clove. I'm getting allspice, maybe a hint of nutmeg, not cinnamon as I talked about on the aroma. More allspice actually than nutmeg. And it's like allspice and clove. I think that's the most dominant spice aromas. And then it's really fluffy and airy, but it's also dry. Like it has a fluffy, airy mouthfeel and it has a decent sweetness, but it's not too sweet. Like some Weizens are quite sweet beers, but this is striking a good balance, similar to like Andechser. It's actually not that far off Andechser's Weizens, just that this is more dry, I think, and more phenolic than theirs. Theirs lean more towards heavy fruit character with esters, although that's also definitely present here. Again, it's mostly banana. Maybe there is like a little bit of a dried apricot-y thing or something like that. I think in recent memory, having it fresh at the source, I think I liked it a little bit more, probably because it was fresher, drinking it there on tap compared to now a couple months, a month or so, maybe a little bit more actually, in the bottle. Down there at the source, there's also something magic about drinking it at the source. And I think also recent memory, other Weizens I've drunk, Weizens from Andechser, I think they are a tad better. I think they are rich and have a bit more deeper character. But that being said, this is still fantastic Weizen. It's just not for me like world class, but it's really, 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 really good. But I also think where they shine is really their lager beers, and I also think actually their Weizen Bock is better than this. That's really wonderful stuff. I tried that a couple of years ago. But yeah, and when do they make that? I think that's like the winter season. Then they have the Weihnachtsbock, which is for the Christmas season, and then they also have the Maibock, which they release for the spring. I think there's only one beer from these guys I've not tried. That's their Fest beer, although that's something I think only they've bottled a couple of times. But this is wonderful. This is great Hefeweizen. Definitely a must check out if you love the style, I think, and a brewery to must check out if you love lagers. In terms of a grade, and also Weizen, I think 92, 93, a strong 93. I think it's got some really nice flavors. It's got some really good balance between like sweetness and dryness, and then it's a bit more to the phenolic side, but still with a very decent amount of estery banana flavor. It's also got a bit of citrus, lemony characteristics to it, even like a little bit of a peppery hop bite. But yeah, really good stuff. Check out Mönchsambacher's Hefeweizen if you can. These beers, Mönchsambacher beers or Zehendner beers, are really hard to come by. It's not too often you see them available, but if you make a Google search, you'll find German web shops sometimes that do sell them. So you can find it online sometimes. Like I know Bibliothek has it. There's a Franconian beer shop. They also sometimes have it. So quick Google search, you should be able to find it. But yeah, if you guys had Mönchsambacher's Hefeweizen, let me know what you thought of it. As always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I'm going to say cheers. See you guys in another beer review.